on how we spend money, and the way we value money is different than a lot of people. If we, like you were saying, if we have $1 million, it starts decreasing instead of increasing because we don't know how to make money work for us. You know, we work for the money and not make the money work for us.
Right.
And then you see people when they finally get the concept of making money work for us, then we're able to, see the increases and the development, and we can look at the economy and look at like things like emergency funds and different other things. We never think of an emergency because we've been in an emergency all our life.
What's the difference? Right.
So there is a big difference there. So
you don't got a bill, dude. That's an emergency.
They about to cut it off. Emergency.
Yeah. Man, been in that emergency, been there, done that all my life.
All my life I had to fight. These bills. All right. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I'm host A.D. Walker, the pusher, the grower, the motivator. To my right, left, we have Mr. Thomas or Dr. Thomas Cotton in the building. Right below us, we have Mr. Larry in the building. Appreciate for him being here. We're gonna talk about what's happening Friday morning, 7 Eastern Standard Time. And that song, Sally Up, Sally Down, is stuck in my head.
Is that what you're doing? No. Are you doing that push-ups or with squats or which one are you using for? Because it goes for everything.
We were doing leg raises.
Leg raises. Right. Up. And then you got to hold it. Hold it.
Bring Sally up. Bring Sally down. There's a time, man.
I had that song in my head all day yesterday. Like, I can't get the song out of my head.
So, Larry, do you do that with push-ups?
I have, but I don't do that with the Live Core Fitness crew. The craziest I go is squats. We do Sally squats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but right now it's leg raises, and so every day I try to have we have ab challenges in there. They happen to be named after women. There's Sally, there's Roxanne, there's Valerie. And if you think of the songs that I'm pulling them from, the Police, Roxanne, we're using that one. Valerie by Amy Winehouse.
Okay.
So, and the name constantly gets said throughout the song, and that invokes the movement.
Right.
So, but because it's an ab challenge, challenge, the word challenge is in there, and the challenge means it has to be challenging. So something that's challenging, you should not be able to accomplish that first time. If you do, you're a rock star, and I'll give you all kudos, right? And they need to add a level of difficulty to it. But
right.
It's a challenge. It's not meant to break you, but it's meant to show you, okay, I can eventually get to a point where I can do this whole thing nonstop. But right now, the expectation is low.
Right.
Just show up.
Nice. Yes. Just show up.
Just show up and get on your back, and we good.
Speaking of showing up, look who's in the building. It is the man like no other, Kaneem Curvey.
Bad boy is in the building. Bad boy is in the building. What up, gentlemen?
What up? Hey, I'm gonna run this intro real quick. Give someone a chance to get their cup of Joe, and then we're gonna come right back. All right.
Stand up.
Bam.
Right.
What it do?
It be what it be.
Better bet.
So those Bring Sallies, I did the song back in the days, I don't know, maybe 6-7 years ago.
Okay.
Doing push-ups.
Okay.
And I got to the point where I could do the whole song, push-ups.
Right.
But boy, that right there. Any exercise, whenever you do a Bring Sally in any exercise, I'm looking forward to that.
I'm not familiar with the Sally thing, man. When y'all say Sally, I'm thinking Stetson.
So there's that song, Bring Sally up, Bring Sally
down.
Yeah,
Oh,
then
no,
You heard that song.
And so you go
Nah,
up, and you go down,
Nah,
and then you hold
nah.
it, and then you go up, and you go down.
I mean, I'm gonna learn it. I'm just saying I don't know it today.
You
Yeah.
don't know the song? You know that song.
So have you ever seen Gone in 60 Seconds? With I forgot his
Maybe
name.
once or twice.
Nicolas
Yeah.
Cage.
It's in that movie too.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Oh man, I'm thinking Stetson Sonic when you say Sally.
That girl. You talking about that girl?
Some people don't like the way Sally walk. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now I gotta check that song. I'm like, I know
Yeah.
Stetson Sonic. I don't. It's not coming.
Now I'm gonna let that song be the intro song for Sally's now.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the transition
Hey.
song.
Y'all don't
That
know
girl.
that song? Some people don't like the way
Oh,
Sally.
you like that one?
Oh, okay.
I remember that one. What about There's so many Sally songs, huh?
Right. Good
Man.
morning, Philip. Good morning, Jeff.
Yeah,
Good
my man,
morning,
Jeff.
Coach Bergman.
Big
Bergman.
Ike.
Am I saying it right? Big Bergman in the building. All right. What's up, Mama Corey? As always, Lisa in the building. Make sure you share. Sharing is caring. We're getting a full house. I'm excited. Everyone, just keep commenting. If you've got any questions, because today we're talking about from ideas to vision, building a destiny. So, what I kind of want to get into, I asked some interesting questions before we went live. It's about the game. I'm gonna just leave it at that. And
What game?
yeah, you missed the Kaneem, and I definitely wanted you in on that conversation.
What game you talking
No,
about?
the game that you have left back that you heard about back in the past.
Yeah,
Way
not,
back,
not Super,
way
not
back.
Super
That
Mario
game.
Brothers.
Not Super Mario Brothers. No. Oh, what did my man Ed Lover used to call? He called it what do you call it? Powdered milk. Powdered milk. He said
Oh no,
the powdered milk game. The powdered milk game. There you go.
Oh, you went back that way. Okay, I thought you talking about last night in the conference final. Oh, okay.
I'm sure powdered milk was handed out during that time too. But anyway, Aunt Sam in the building. She says, "Good morning, brothers. How you guys doing? Sending y'all some love. Appreciate the love. So I was talking about ideas to vision, right? And several of you guys have organizations or things that you started, and I kind of wanted to talk about just the first steps, because it's always great to have an idea, and you kind of jump into it, but getting into the structuring of making it happen, right? Some of the first steps. Is it consulting someone that has done it before, or do you do more Googling? Like I know Kaneem's is in the car business as well as been in the house business, in the real estate game, and learning now more and more that Kaneem has some background with family members and people being entrepreneurs and things of that nature. So he's got a little help, as far as experience. And with Thomas, he has his organization, and I know Larry has his businesses as well. So anyone can jump in. Just how did you, because you have an idea, like, ooh, that'd be dope. You go through it like, man, I could make bank. Right. If I just do this right, and so what was your experience kind of getting in whatever business that you're in?
Yeah. So with the photo booth joint,
there we go.
So I was always into photography. I had a digital camera. I used to walk around just taking pictures everywhere I go. Family vacation, had a tripod and all that stuff, right? Okay. Friend of mine's, they got, when they got married, they had a photo booth at their wedding, and they paid out the wazoo for this. And then they came up to me afterwards going, "Hey, Larry, I bet you could have did this, right?" So me being me, I'm up to any challenge, right? I'm like, I'm like, challenge accepted, right?
Right.
So then I started just playing around, did a little bit of Googling, did a little see what I could put together, some MacGyvering, and then it came around. My daughter, my goddaughter, and then Large brother's daughter. They all had their Sweet 16s around the same time. So I'm like, okay, I'm bringing a photo booth. And the first one, if you see my first photo booth, how I put it together compared to what my offering is now, that just showed the level of growth. And what happened was, as time moved on, I just made sure that I listened. I received active criticism as, you know, hey, this is how you make your thing better. This is how you make it better. This is how you make it better. And every time I just kept making sure I grew. And that now that I got it to a point now, has one of my brothers helped me out with the setup, and it was like, wow, you got this thing well thought out. I was like, well, I had lots of help. Lots of help, lots of experience, right? And I had everything that's all set up. And and it went from a challenge,
right,
you know, to okay, I can do this, to now, boom, I done got inserted into a business right now that is somewhat lucrative, and it's starting to blow up because there's lots of gimmicks out there. So, but I was already established prior to now. So
nice.
So yeah.
Okay. That was good. We're gonna listen. What I'm gonna put a pin in it as everyone discusses, but I want exactly what I want to talk about, the listening part. Now we'll get back to that. All right, go ahead, Thomas.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, one of the things Larry says, I saw a need and I met a need. You know, there's something that I can see I can do. I have the skill set for, you know, and the idea of a smart business model. It's like, okay, I have the skills for this business model. During the pandemic, you know, there's a lot of people that went from live to online.
Right.
And, you know, for me, I did a side business during the pandemic of producing Zoom calls, to where everybody felt connected in the Zoom. They felt like they could, you know, there's the flow, nothing stopped. There was no dead silence. There was always someone going. The spotlight was on the person that needed to be on, and everything like that. And that type of business, I mean, you know, if I wanted to move into something like that, because the need is still there. If I want to do that full time, I mean, you can charge anywhere between $75 to $180, $200 an hour for something like that. Depends on who you're working with, right? And I mean, in the pandemic, it was really good money. I mean, it went from one organization to another organization they knew, and then before you knew it, I'm, you know, halfway across the country doing this for people. I did graduations, you know, college graduations. I did birthday parties, 50th birthday parties, and I was a DJ in that sense. I don't DJ. I can mix some music together, play a playlist, and make it seem like I put sound effects to it and everything. You're gonna have a good time. If you look at the feedback, you couldn't tell. Like everyone thought I was a DJ. So when you're in the world of being online and you got the skills for it, you look for a need, meet a need. You know, if you see a need, meet a need. That's one of the to me the key elements of starting a business. And you know, there are businesses that you look at and you say, you know, I'm going to make money, because that's what you're in business for. I'm going to make money. You're not going to spend your time on something where you're not going to make money, but you got to put work in. You got to put effort in. Larry did his research. He listened to people. He walked through a process, and now the business that was kind of like, okay, this is something I might be able to do. It's something like I am doing now. And so those are things. I'll talk a little bit more about the other businesses, because, you know, right now I do have the nonprofit organization I started back in 2010. But I also have, you know, Next Level Freedom, which is, you know, my consulting gig and what I do all my side stuff out of, but I also do my coaching and everything else out. And then we'll talk about, like, you know, the work that you do, where are you going to put it at? So if you create the word is in his, it'll get to me, but it'll come back.
There you go.
When you have creative work, you got to know where you're going to place it, what kind of structure you're going to place your creative work in. And so we'll talk a little bit about that too coming up.
That's good. All right, Kaneem, what was your entry into your business And what was that like? Let's talk about the car business, because that's probably like the most intricate to me. And real estate, it's a toss up between real estate and cars, because always like
Man, I
figuring
mean,
out the car game.
the most, I guess, my whole thing was that I knew that was one thing that everybody had. You needed a place to stay, which is shelter,
Right.
and you needed transportation. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So those are two needs that I knew, but being that I was trying to figure out how I could, well, I guess it's like flipping money. You know what I'm saying? So I was trying to see like how can I flip $1 to make $2? And I'm like, if I could be like, I'm gonna go buy me some t-shirts. I'm gonna pay $5 for these t-shirts, put on here, then I might do that. But how many t-shirts I got to sell to make $1,000?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, that's a lot of t-shirts. You feel what I'm saying?
A lot.
So I was just trying to look for something that if I'm gonna spend a lot of time on it, because you still gotta do research, like Thomas said, whatever you do. And the same way that Larry did research for his photo booth and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? He did it. He got the fundamentals and the theory of it. Asked some folks who was in the business. And once he started, he got clients that gave him feedback on what he could not, or what they did or did not like, or you know what I'm saying, stuff that they were like, okay, if you do this will be better. So I do the same with people I sell cars to.
Okay.
But mine is more a rapport. You know what I'm saying? Like the car is the car. It's going. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So, but I'm almost selling myself along with the car.
Right.
Because I need you. It benefits me in the greatest way.
Right.
That not only do you enjoy the car, but when you leave me, you enjoy my presence. Right. So you can go and tell somebody else, like, hey man, this dude here good, man. You know what I'm saying? Go to him.
Run and tell that.
Run and tell that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how I look at that part of it. But yeah, I mean, my whole focus was how can I make the most money for my time? You know what I'm saying? And I figure like if I spend $2,000 on a car, print it up, get it straight, and sell it for $5.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, it might take me a week, might take me 2 weeks.
Right.
But I done made $3,000 in 2 or 3 weeks, and that's just one car.
Right.
Maybe I sell 2 cars a week.
Right.
Maybe I sell 3 cars a month. But I done made $9,000 on 3 cars. In one
so Kaneem, how do you get around having it?
How long it take me to sell t-shirts to make $9,000?
I think
Jeff
put up 17,000.
How do you get around having a dealer's license or not having a dealer's license when you're selling cars?
I mean, they got public auctions. Public auctions is I mean, you can still make money in public auctions. You may not make as much. Well, you probably could if it just depends on. Because you make your money when you buy, just like when you sell it. When you buy it.
What I'm saying, isn't there a limit on how many cars you can sell before you have to have a dealer's license?
Oh, good question. But a public auction, no, because it's something that you don't have to report to the Department of Revenue.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying?
Okay.
So you don't have to report to the Department of Revenue, so you're good. It's more like a private sale. It's like if I just sold you a picture or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not going to never take possession of the title in your name.
Got you.
Right.
You get me? Mm-hmm. Now, when you take possession of the title, that's something different. Every time I purchase a car, I take possession of the title in my company name.
Right.
Gotcha.
So when I get ready to sell it, I got to report to the Department of Revenue every time I make a sale.
Right.
But I'm exempt from taxes because I pay all mine when I purchase the car.
Nice.
So
you pay your taxes on the purchase price, not on the sale price.
There you go. Because when I sell a car, the person that buys the car pays the taxes. So you be like,
right.
so
He said, yeah, I'm signing off. Yes, you can't hear none of this. We got you. Go ahead. Yeah, we'll call you back.
So
But
now,
but I mean, but that's just it. Just depends on how you want to do it. But you don't have to be a dealer. But when you are a dealer, there are a dealer only auctions that you can go to.
right.
You know what I'm saying? That those prices are a lot different. Like when people trade in cars, when you go to Nissan or Mercedes or Lincoln or Chevrolet, them trade-ins. See, the public can't buy them trade-ins.
Right.
Only
Okay.
dealers can. So somebody might go trade in a 2015 Tahoe because they want to get them a 2020 S-Class Mercedes.
Right.
Only a dealer can buy that 2015 Tahoe.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying? And he's
Mhm.
gonna get it probably at the trade-in price. So they trade it in and they trade it in for like maybe $9,000, $10,000. But if you look at the blue book value, it's still worth 17.
Right.
You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it just depends.
So
Gotcha.
well, Kaneem Thomas has said something, and I think I'm victim for this too. Is like Kaneem said he's selling himself. You know, it's the rapport that he makes with his clients, so that they can come back, so he can keep selling them that $2,000 car for $5,000, right? You know,
Right.
so that Thomas can, you know, he didn't come to be the DJ, but he's gonna pretend he's the best DJ in the house, right? And then with me with the photo booth, you know,
Yeah.
this is added entertainment again for the event. So part of me, I'm selling the pictures, but I'm also selling me to go ahead and grab those smiles, to grab that action, right?
Mhm.
How do we take the idea that became a vision, that became reality? How do we grow it to the point where we don't need ourselves, or do we still just keep ourselves in the business?
Right.
Well, once you create the process, man, and the reputation, you know what I'm saying? It's process and reputation. So if you get that process in line and you got that reputation, anybody can represent because your reputation is going to precede you.
Right.
Hey man, but I might send AD with the car. Now, AD, when you go take this car over there, you ain't got to say nothing.
Right.
And to say nothing, because if you say something, you're gonna mess up the whole thing, man.
Shut up and take the car. Take the car.
Won't say a word. Just hand them the keys.
Yeah. If they
Tell them to
got
sign here.
if they got any questions, refer them back to the office. You know what I'm saying?
Let me show
Refer
you
them
what's
back.
going on with this car, Chief.
Refer them back to the office. You know what I'm saying? All you gotta do is be apologetic at all times.
Right.
I'm so sorry. That's my bad. I don't have the information that you need right now. But if you call the office, you know what I'm saying?
It's your fault. You shouldn't have bought this car.
No. See, that's what I say. Don't
It's yours
say
now.
nothing. Don't say nothing. Just be
Yours.
apologetic and refer them back to the office. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
And just let that go.
It's
funny because what Kaneem's saying, you might get somebody's trying to, hey, I can do this too.
right.
But,
I can do
you know,
this, Chief.
One of the things that you do though is you create the reputation around your business. Don't
Right.
create it as an individual, because if you create it as an individual, you create an individual name, not a business name. And so when you like Chick-fil-A, you don't like, Dan that works at Chick-fil-A. You like Chick-fil-A, right? And so
Dan be hooking me up though.
yeah,
Dan says my pleasure.
Right.
Dan says my pleasure. But it ain't Dan, it's Chick-fil-A, right? And so you got to make sure that when you're engaging this process, you create a business and you create a good name around your business, because that way whomever works for your business and they're representing you, if they're trained the right way, like Kaneem saying, oh, sorry about that, be apologetic, that's your business. The business, man, this dude, he was so kind, he was so nice. But when your business has a problem, with people and how you engage with people, then it's the whole business. If Kaneem was like, man, that Kaneem, he country as can be, but he nice, they could be like that, right?
Yeah.
Or they could be, or he could be rude.
Right.
He countries to be, they're rude, they're so unprofessional, they're this, and it's just the kind of language that goes along with it. So
But
you
just
got to
think,
worry about the language as what's being said about your business.
think about this though, y'all. Think about this. How do you escalate negativity when somebody's apologizing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's hard to do. And I'm not saying that you can't,
Yeah.
but it's hard to do. It's hard to go real negative when you got nothing but apologies and empathy just coming at you. Like,
Right.
so sorry. I really do. We did mean to. We're going to try to. I mean, it's hard to go like, I don't care. Forget your apology. That apology don't mean nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to do that. It's hard to do that.
No doubt. That's good. That's good. Let's go back to something Larry said and got reiterated by Miss Caroline about the listening. As you're building, are you more open to listen, or do you find yourself ever being defensive, or is it one of those depending on who's trying to tell me something? Are you open to listen when people give you critique?
It just depends on who you're listening to. I'm sorry I jumped in, but there's some people you just can't listen to.
Critique though,
because immediately people think that, well, because I can't do it, or it's not something that should be done.
Right.
You shouldn't do it this way. And these could be highly respected people. I'll give you an example. When I started the nonprofit in 2010, it's from the grassroots. I'm thinking I'm gonna be a trailblazer in this space because there's a different way I see reentry than other people. And so a lot of times people were like, well, why don't you just do it? Let them do it. And you just do this. And why don't you? And it's like, you don't see what I see. And I try to explain to it, but because, I'm trailblazing here, a lot of people don't understand it.
Right.
And then a couple years later, I started a church. While I'm starting a brand new nonprofit, I'm starting a grassroots church. People are like, why are you starting a church? Because there's people in this community that need to see the love of Jesus, not just hear about it, right?
Right.
And there's some things that have to happen right here in this space, and there's a need for this, for it to go. So now I have a church and a nonprofit. People are like, well, why don't you just focus on one? Because there's a need in both areas. If you're going to do one, I'll do the other.
Right.
And so a lot of times, when you're trailblazing, people don't understand trailblazing. They just understand trail walking, so they don't understand that people are actually moving forward in a path. And so if they're not on path with you or understanding the work that it takes to blaze a trail, or they see that work is too hard, they'll make it for themselves. They'll think it's too hard for you also. And so,
that's good right there, though. That's good.
We have to be able to know who we're surrounding ourselves with. So during this time, there are a lot of people who came around that I trusted prior to the process that I couldn't trust in the process. And there are people that I did not know before the process that sewed into the process and helped me understand how to blaze this trail because they saw the vision of what was going to happen. And so you got to get people who can see a vision and visualize what's going to take place at the same time with you. Even though it may, it seems hard to do, things are going to be hard, but choose your hard,
Right. So would you, so, and this goes for all you, everybody, would you say, were you surprised at who bought in to the video? I mean, I know sometimes people are surprised they're not buying in, and sometimes it's not a surprise because mindset and where they at, you're like, you can't trip. You've never really had a business. You don't know, you've always had just a 9 to 5. You got that kind of mentality. But were there ever characters in your circle or just right outside your circle that bought in and you like, oh, you like told them about it? They're like, oh man, I'm all in. Like, wait, what? I thought I was gonna have to hard sell it to you. I was like, oh no, I'm with it. Have you had any of those people around you? Kaneem, Larry, or Thomas?
Sometimes, the numbers is the numbers, man. I mean, it's the, I guess it depends on what the venture is.
Okay.
But the numbers, math is math. 1 + 1 is 2. I mean, it's about the execution. How we gonna get this one
Right.
to add one to make two?
Right.
Do you have a process?
Right.
Is it proven, or is
Is
you
it
just
mathing?
Yeah. Is it a proven process, or is you just throwing something at the wall and hoping it stick? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, because I ain't gonna say a lot, but it's certain aspects of business that are just familiar to me when I hear and when I see it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But you have to have experience to be able to notice it. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
some folks get got, like old buddy got me for that $1,500. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Old buddy that got me for that. Old buddy that got me for that $1,500.
Right. But he talked the language though. He sound good. He made it look clear, and you like, oh, I'm all. Here you go. I'm all in.
Hey,
You know?
I mean, hey, we was out there scoping.
Right.
We in the streets. We going in houses. We
Right.
we literally, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Yeah.
still, when it was time to produce,
Right.
money was gone and he was gone with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Right.
will that happen in the future to me?
Yeah.
No, it won't happen to me because that's the experience that I have because I've been through it.
Okay.
But like I say, it depends on the venture and the process of making the money or trying to make the profit. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. I mean, I get this, and we can move forward, but I got what you're saying as far as experience. But what if, right? What if? So for you, if you see the same thing, you might not be as trusting, or you're gonna ask for more verification. Basically, like I need a little more because old buddy that got you for the money. You want, you drove around, everything looked legit, so you need another layer of information before you would invest in a situation like that.
Yeah, I mean that and that
Or
amount
was it
of
like
I mean,
obvious or was it one of those
mind
things
you-
that you figured out afterwards that you like, oh, I saw that thing, but I ignored it?
Now, mind you, going back to the t-shirts,
Yeah, okay, let's go.
somebody be like, hey man, we can get in this t-shirt game, blah, 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 blah. And all it is like $300.
Right.
And I see the passion in you. I
Right.
can do you $300.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
$300 ain't gonna really stop my living.
Okay.
It's not gonna impact my lifestyle.
Got you. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
$1,800, that's a house note.
Right.
You done stole my mortgage for the next month. You know what I mean?
I feel you.
Yeah, so it's like what Kaneem was saying though. Like, so now he's talking about it's not an idea or vision that was given directly to him. It's somebody else coming to him with one, and it's like that level of investment that that person has. Like Kaneem, you the type of person you want to invest in. You're gonna go all in. You're just like me. There was something I had going on. And
Okay.
I had a vision that I had wanted to do,
Right.
and have it go one way, but then somebody came to me with their vision.
Okay.
Initially, they disguised that as if it was on par with what I had or what I wanted to do, and then once we started, it wasn't what I wanted. And when that happens, it's that for me, like you got stuck with 1,500. Well, with me, I got stuck dragging the vision, dragging that idea, making sure that, hey, I want to stay true to whatever this is, although it wasn't mine originally. It had a piece of me in there, so I'm going to go ahead and
make some
commitments and make something happen. Because if I put Larry Banks on it, I'm going to commit. Hey, you're getting. He said you're getting me, and you're getting the business, and I'm going to keep. I'm going to drag it. But the problem was with that one. It was like a 15,000 pounds of rocks that I was dragging. You know, it's like it's not meant for one person to drag. It's meant for a community to drag, right? You know, I'm gonna need help. You know, so that one got left behind, and which hurt. But another thing is with regards to the people coming to you talking about what you're doing. I had to learn, like old Larry 20 years ago.
Right.
Oh man, but you don't know what you're talking about. Just move on, right? This Larry here, it depends on how. Like, if someone came at me a certain way, and I was like, "You don't know what you're talking about." This is what I'm saying in my head. I didn't say it to them. I just said, I get in the face, like, "Okay, you're right. You're right. All right." But then later on, it had to take time to process, and I was like, "You know what? This is when I had to start taking criticism, and then I couldn't get the word out earlier, but take it as feedback." Right. Feedback. You know, the good and the bad is still feedback, because what happens is you want to make more of your goods than your bad feedbacks, right? And you take it and just translate it, and you know, with this person, when they gave me this feedback, and I was like, I think I went to my wife and was like, you know, they had the nerve to tell me this, that, and the third. This is what my product is. And this is what they get. And the person was like, I was like, if they want that, they can go somewhere else. And I was like, you know, and then as it kept going on and on and on, I started thinking about it. And then I was like, okay. Found a way, made it happen. And I went right to that person, said thank you. And now I offer this, that, and that. Now what's up? And this person is one of my most frequent, or the second most frequent users of my business right now. So
that's good. That's awesome.
So yeah.
Wow. You grow in business. That's the other part. If you're not growing, then you know you take those $1,500 hits and you go, that hurt. You know, now I know a little bit better. I think when it comes to Kaneem, like systems that you have in place, you have to have them in place, but knowledge you also have to have. And I think that's what Kaneem has, that knowledge that lets him understand that, you know, this is the way we do business. Like back in the days, you thought you could do business with a handshake, but you know, you learned that if it isn't written, it isn't said. You know, so because people will change their words in a minute. You know, no, that's not what I said. This is not what I agreed to. You know, you have to make sure it's written. You got to do business as business, you know, and a lot of times when we talked about businesses coming to you, a lot, you know, it is other people's vision that's coming to you. People have a vision, they have a passion. They're like, you know, I'm gonna get people involved with this. You know, one of the places we can all see this at is multi-level marketing. You know, some people, they hit multi-level marketing, but you know, the way they hit is they're able to get a whole bunch of people to foolishly follow their vision, and you know, don't understand that it takes more than 10 hours a week to do multi-level marketing. But they sold you a vision. They sold you your 10 hours a week, and you do this, and you're going to make this amount of money. I did it and everything. But the reality is, this person's up day and night selling, doing all this other stuff. They're hustling. And if you're gonna get to that same level, you got to be a hustler also. But so,
Thomas,
you know, go ahead.
Thomas, if I want a quick 1,000, I want to come to Kaneem and sell some T-shirts though.
Yeah, you got to sell 17,000 of them though. Hey, but you know what? These days, let me stop laughing, because T-shirts are it's this big difference now. The way you could do T-shirts now versus, you know, some years ago. You don't even have a whole inventory for a T-shirt right now. And you have to make one. You know, you can have your T-shirt designs. Now I watch people put designs up and just like, okay, you want a T-shirt, order it. And the other side of T-shirts now is they're not going for $10, $12 no more. People are selling T-shirts for $25 to $45. I'm like, that's just a funky T-shirt. You know? And you trying to give me for this little funky T-shirt because it has something holy on it or whatever. You know, you put a worship on it or whatever, right? But quality, you get them, the neck be all stretched out when you get them, and it's like, come on, y'all, do better.
You said you buy T-shirts all the time, Kaneem?
All the time, bro. I gotta buy some now for the little Florida trip that I'm about to go on. I'm buying T-shirts all the time, man.
You gotta get
if you're trying to get some, you know, hoodies these days, man, don't sell T-shirts, sell hoodies. You can charge $65 to $100 for a hoodie.
Oh yeah. Especially if you got a real good logo or a real good design or saying or something like that,
Right.
you definitely can make some bread.
Like I'm going broke on these things. But
Okay, it's not just me. All right, cool.
man,
God
so
is
it,
dope.
Made all the time
business is business. So like you got to make sure that you're willing to be business minded versus just employee minded, so to speak. Because a lot of times people think business, when you get into business, oh, I can't
about to
work for
blow up.
nobody else. I can't do this. In business, you work for other people. You have clients, you have customers, you have other people.
You
that
got more
work for,
bosses.
right?
That's all.
And I say this all the time.
Right.
Business is a lot different because it's you depending on you to make the money that you're going to live off of and keep the business going. Like everything's dependent on you. So you do have a job. Your job is to run this business 24/7 if you have to. And you're not really, and it doesn't depend on anybody else in the beginning. Your employees, you don't keep your employees don't keep your business going. You keep your employees paid, or they're going somewhere else, right? So it's those types of things that you start to look at when it comes to business. You have to have a different mindset. You can't be like, I don't work for nobody else.
Right.
No, you do work for other people. You just work for yourself, and you're building a legacy of your business, of the way you want to see it go and everything. So, hey, Mr. Richard, see you there.
What up, Rich?
What up, Rich?
Yeah, and the one thing I realize is it's like you move from a job to a business, but you want to become the employee of your own business. That's the goal. So you can bring enough money so you have a regular paycheck. You want that consistency back, because nothing worse than like, I don't know what this week gonna look like. I got to get out there. There's no real days off. If a day off, it's like a day without getting paid. The whole mindset.
Man. Don't say that.
What up, E? Good morning, sir.
So crazy thing is, I've had plenty of days.
Sometimes I go on vacation, I ain't making no money. I'm all on the beach. I'm all on the beach chilling. Ain't no money coming in because I'm on the beach chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you gonna make money on the beach? That's why I need some passive income. That's why I want to get together and get this joint venture with somebody that see the vision of having these small apartment complexes, man. I got
1,500 on it.
I got 1,500 on it.
Small apartments. That's what I'm talking about. Y'all come on and holler at your boy.
We building.
But you know what, Kenny? What you're talking about is a possibility. It's just when you present it, some people want it to be real because you don't want to present it that way and get the fakes, and they're always worried about their money. When am I going to get my money back? When am I going to get my money back? That's another reason why people can't go into business together, because they think the idea of making money is just going to be quick instead of a long-term investment. And that's the other part. You got to be, and I said this, I think last week on here or as another show, but you can't eat your seed. You can't be like, I put this money in, I get some money back. That's what I'm going to eat off of. No, you need to have some money to reinvest. You got to look at the long-term goals and visions of business, because people get just caught up on money so quickly. They want their money back. When am I going to get my money? When's my return? Listen, if you put some money in the stock market, you have to wait for that money to grow. And I mean, you could do day trading if you're good enough. Good. Make it happen, Captain. There's more risk there. But at the same time, if you're going to take less risk, put this money in and let it grow. If you trust the visionary of this process, and you trust, the prospectus they put out or whatever it is, the money that they say you're going to invest, this is what the return can look like. This is how we're going to do it. This is our model. This is what it looks like when it comes to these small apartment complexes. This is, if we're 75% full, this is what it looks like. If it's 50% full, this is the return. There's all these things that you can do. And then when you do that, then people need to understand, I'm going with you, Kaneem. Go with them. Wait for your return. Watch. Get the financial reports every month. You get to check and see what's happening. You check in. There's all these things, but people need to have long-term vision when it comes to investment of their money. That's also business mindset. That's in a sense, when your money's working for you, you're actually running a business also, because you have to put it out there in the right spaces. So there's some things that people have to take this time to look at. And I think that's one of the things that reason why we don't go from idea to vision ever. We have an idea, and the idea is I'm gonna make money, but the reality is I'm not creating legacy. And so we have to make sure that we go from idea to legacy, not idea to money.
Right. There you go. But there it is.
There you go, bro. That's what I say. There you go.
Yeah, and I think
I'm gonna definitely put something together, man. I'm gonna come over here and pitch it to the whole BOL family and be like, hey, I'm gonna have pro formas, C12, 36-month projections. I'm gonna give it all to you.
Gotta get it on. We gotta get it on.
Here's the thing, Nick. Catch a wave. You know, when it comes to real estate, like I invested in real estate for a while. And one of the things I used to say about real estate investment is legal drug money. That's what I used to call it. It's legal drug money, because I used to watch these checks flow and I'd be like, dang, how that hit right there, you know, and it was, I couldn't believe it. It was like, you can make this much money in 30, 45, 50 days, 60 days. Now, some of the money I just stumbled up on. It was an accident. Like my first investment flip, we accidentally made money off of that. But the thing is, it is one of those things where, you know, when you don't have to set it out for those amount of days. If you're flipping properties, people need to get in on a flip. They got to understand there's a risk with this flip, but there's also a reward. You know, if the market is down and you got something that's going up, man, back in 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, you could buy houses in South Atlanta for $5,000.
Bro, and my wife told me to do that. I was like, I was gonna buy like 3 of them, and we were riding over there. And, I don't know if you know where Peoplestown is, Mechanicsville, stuff like that. Man, I was gonna buy 3 of them. They was all over there by you know where Gideon's Elementary at? But you might not. But anyway,
so I do because I lived in Lakewood, so I know that whole area. So I can tell you about. Hey, dude, bought one, $5,000, held it for 2 years, renovated it, and ended up selling it for $415.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's over in Pittsburgh right there where Gideon's is.
$5,000 to purchase the property. Put about $75,000 in the renovations. So he all in for less than $100 and paid and sold for $415.
I don't know if we'll ever get back to that again, but this was 2010. The house across the street from me was a shell, basically. The inside had no drywall, no anything. It was just a frame, right? It was $5,000 across the street from me. I'm looking at this house every single day. $5,000. But I'm looking at this house like a burden versus anything. Listen, I could have put that on a credit card, pay my credit card bill, whatever. If I didn't have no money, just boom. The person bought it for $5,000, held it for 2 years, sold it for $12,500, right? No, this was in 2008. Sold it for $12,500. The person who had it for $12,500 held it for another 2 years, sold it for $45,000, right? The person who bought it for $45,000 renovated it and sold it for $275,000. Like, you know, it's just like, wait a minute. There are houses, there are so many houses that I saw in the South Atlanta area, $5,000 to $12,000. Those houses without any work now, or a few years ago, back in 2017, you buy it from $5,000 to $12,000. You're selling it for $120,000 to $150,000. No renovation, no nothing.
It's an okay.
Calm down, Jeff. Calm down, Jeff.
The thing is, I say, man, and if you look at the real estate cycle now,
right,
like right now,
it
was a bull. Now it's going to a bear market. The cycle is going down right now. You know what I'm saying? Like if you look at all the prices. I don't know if you're looking at Redfin, Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com. But every time you look at one of them, the price is getting reduced. So you know that the housing market, as far as those inflated prices from when everybody came out of the pandemic, they're going down. The next 2 years, it's going to be right at probably at the bottom, and then it's going to start to rise again. So these next 24 months is going to be crucial for those to get in, and now is going to be a time where you try to make your money, basically.
Yeah.
So I heard E.T. Eric Thomas say something that was interesting. I had to kind of sit on it. He said, the middle class is the most fearful class of losing anything. You know, we don't want to lose. We don't want to lose our stuff. We don't want to lose our possessions, our money. He said, the rich, they'll just throw it at it and hope for the best. Poor people, throw it at it, hope for the best. I don't have nothing anyway. Hope for the best. Like we sit in the middle and we don't make a move because we're so fearful of losing. You know, and I was like, wow. And I've watched it. I've had friends, you know, they got degrees, but they would never move out of that comfort zone to take a risk, you know, that they just might lose your car. It's all right. You still got another one. Like, you know, just take a risk on something. You know, and there's these stories, and I've been, you know, we've all been through it throughout levels, decades, you know, man, I should have just thrown that $100 at something. Man, I should have just thrown that $500 at it, and it would have become what we know. You know, I think it's just that, but what if that 100 turned to 0? Like, you know what I could have done with that $100? You know, so I think getting into that space, it's that fear. That's a whole nother conversation. We can have that maybe tomorrow, but how do you get out of that fear? You know, because I know with Kaneem, especially after my man and at 15, it's like, if I see another dude that's another pastor, I don't care how close he is. You know, like if all of the situations look exactly like this other situation, and I get it, Kaneem. Listen, I get it. You be like, nah, Chief, I need a little more. He's like, yo, this is all I got, but I promise you, you know, like if we go in on this thing, like, you know, say the dude would come with the 5,000. This house is 5 G's. I got 2. You got, you know, I got 25. You got 25. We go in on this. I promise you. You know, like we sign contracts. Like, nah, man, this is looking like this joint from 3 years ago. I can't. You know.
Yeah, but
and then he finds somebody else. He go to Larry. Larry's like, I'm all in. You know. Larry's like, yo, let me tell you what happened last year. You know, and you know, like, what? You know,
it's the experience and the knowledge about the actual investment. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if somebody would come to me like that, I would know how to handle it from my experience and my knowledge.
But you gotta
think sometimes knowing too much could add to our hesitancy. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. See, like when you go to think about, like, I know my wife and I, been to Vegas a couple of times, we have a MGM over here at the National Harbor. But I'm gonna say how we approach when we go to Vegas. We're not gamblers, right? And you know, and I think you done. So I guess we in the middle. I guess we middle class. I guess that's where we at right now. Because
we're in the middle.
Because when we're there, we're like, okay, you talk about that $100. Like, all right, I'm gonna spend 40 of that 100 on the table. You know, I'm gonna take 20. I'm gonna give her 20. See, I didn't say we're gonna split that whole $100, right? And it's like, hey, once it goes, are we gonna go ahead and do it again? So I don't know how to get out of that mindset, but we're like, okay, hopefully we make that money back. If we don't, okay, I was willing to lose that 20. Whereas, you know, people the high rollers. I'm gonna assume the high rollers in that rich class, they're just throwing it. And like I was hearing stories this other day with this guy. He was like, oh yeah, my buddy went to Vegas for his wedding. And he spent $1,000. He got 30. He won 30,000 on the tables. So then they just started throwing money around. You know, they went there for their anniversary, for their honeymoon. So now, so I'm like, shoot, how do I want to turn 1,000 to 30, but dude, I don't have. And when it comes to that, I don't have the gall to be like, see, if I say I'm going to drop 1,000 on the tables or whatever to try to make 30. Mrs. Banks gonna grab by my ear and be like, "Take your butt back to the room." You know what I mean? But well,
if you don't get yourself over here,
but so I don't know, how do we lose that mindset? Like, how do we how do we make that change? You shake the fear. It's like,
Shout out,
what?
Shout out to Kent. Shake the fear. Oh,
Making the fear. I don't think you ever lose the fear. I think
Right.
anytime you go into a venture, there's still a level of fear
fear.
that's there.
Right.
But you see that there's an option here. And I always tell people, you have an option. You can stay the same or you can change.
Right.
If you
Right.
stay the same, then what are your options?
Right.
Whatever your options are at that moment, accept the consequences, whatever it
Right.
is. If you decide you're going to take a leap of faith and
Yeah.
move forward, you got to count the cost. And that's what a lot
Yeah.
of people don't do. We don't count the cost. All we count is the money we can make. But what's the cost? What can it cost you? And a lot of times it can cost you a lot. It can cost you all the money that you made, everything you saved up for,
No doubt.
and everything. But again, if you realize, like, if you're going to start a business, what's the worst that can happen to you? Well, I have this job here and I can fall right back into this type of job, or I can live out the dream that I know that I want to do. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go take this, risk versus reward. I'm going to go take this leap of faith into this business that I've been wanting to do all my life. And if it's not successful, then I can just fall back into this job. I know a lot of people that don't have to go either or, because that's what a lot of times we flood our mind with either or too much.
Yes.
Instead of both and. Like, I can have a job and I can have a business.
Right.
And a lot of times you just got to realize, what is it going to take to work both of these, right? And so how do you know if your business is going to be successful? I know people who have a career and they're a real estate agent, and they're successful in both.
Right.
And so you have to be able to know what your limitations are, what your weaknesses are, what your strengths are, SWOT analysis if you want, and really begin to look at the venture that you're going into. And is this your passion, or are you just looking at the money? What is the risk versus reward type of thing? But a lot of times you're going to function in fear. You just got to also have courage enough to function in that fear and moving forward, and know that you put the right work into it.
Right. So like what you're saying there is, so now I don't want to take the risk invest the risk into that dealer at the on the table when I go to Vegas, but instead when it comes to the business, I'll take that money and actually invest it in myself, into my business, and know that I'm going to put that work in to go ahead and make that business flourish. And then the end game is that hundo turns into more later on. So so pick in what you're investing in, right? And so my investment is me.
So Jeff said, I bought a house.
Name one of the shirts.
2006, worst time to buy a house. Houses were high. It literally took 10 years to develop equity, but in the past 5 years, it's almost doubled in value. So my question, right? And then Thomas actually came back and said, pretty much the same thing kind of happened to him. Grateful that we finally had a year profit after 13 years of negative equity, right? So, but situations like that, it's that, what is it? Do you look at the glass half full or half empty? Do you look at the situation as a negative or a net positive? Because one, you got learning experience, from buying a house, like, oh, dang, I didn't even realize, you should look at this. Oh, I didn't even think to look at that, and do you net gain it, or do you look at, oh man, this is what I lost? You understand what I'm saying? Like, a lot of situations happen. Do we look at what we learned from it, or do we look at what we lost from it? That makes sense?
I could talk about that house situation.
Right.
But there's a lot of things you can learn, right? You learn how people, like people who are, let me just use bankruptcy, for example. Okay. A lot of people who file bankruptcy are not broke. This is just asset protection for them sometimes. Right. They've put a lot of money out there. They use bankruptcy to, but they were able to leverage the money everything that they got, filed bankruptcy. Now they got cash on hand.
Right. Sometimes
we got to learn, like for me, I don't know if I would have done anything different, because my mortgage was really cheap. And it was my property tax per year dropped down to, at one time, it dropped down to like $47. Yeah. All right, Larry.
Yes, sir. Tomorrow, 7 o'clock, 7 a.m. We look forward
4
to
a.m. Pacific time.
Yes, LiveCore Fitness. It's on.
Yes, indeed. I'll put that link up. All right. Peace out, Larry. He got rolled. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry, Thomas.
So no, it's all good. So, my mortgage was cheap. My property tax went way down, but there's something I could have did. The house next door to me, I lost $140,000 worth of equity within a year because of the market crash, right?
Right.
But the house next door to me was selling. It was bank sold. I could have easily bought that house and let my house go into foreclosure. And then when the equity grew back, by then there's tons of equity. There's things that you could do different. I don't know if I would have did anything different though, because I paid my mortgage every month on time, continued, build the credit like everybody else says. But then you realize that, a lot of people in business, that's not how they do business. And so you just got to know what you're going to do different. So when you look at these learning lessons, you can learn to do things the right way, or you can do things you can try to do the underhanded, shady way. For me, I don't think you ever get anywhere by learning the underhanded, shady way of doing things. I think if you're going to be solid everywhere. Money shouldn't run your mindset one way or the other. If you made a commitment, try your best to stick to the commitment. When it comes to being professional, be professional in all your ways. Be disciplined. As you're being disciplined, people will see that you're professional. And always know that where you're at today is not the end result. And if it just so happened to be the end result, well, at least you went out with a bang. Because for me, I think about, I've taken a lot of losses in my life, right? But then I have things like earlier I was talking about, your structures and your business structures. If you have intellectual property, always know how to protect your intellectual property. I have a curriculum that I teach through a nonprofit organization. The curriculum is mine. It's not the nonprofit. So I don't put the curriculum in the nonprofit because that's my intellectual property. If I put it in the nonprofit, I now don't have the rights to that intellectual property anymore because you don't own a nonprofit. So you got to know how to protect your intellectual properties. You got to learn how to create intellectual property. You got to be also to understand that you are the brand. Like Kaneem was saying, he's selling himself. Real estate agents don't sell real estate. They sell themselves. And so anybody who does sales, they don't sell the product they're selling. They sell themselves because you are the representation of whatever a person's getting, the quality, the level of comfort and everything else. And so you just got to understand how it is to build your brand, build who you are, and protect your intellectual properties. And it's important to have those things in order. And then listen to people, learn from people. So I'll just leave it there for now.
Definitely. Chris has a testimony. He said, hold on, what does it say? He said, ever since I started watching the Brothers of Legacy, my credit score has gone up 100 points. You're welcome, Chris.
You're welcome. Nice. Very nice.
Oh, it said
mine's gone down 20. I'm just kidding.
Honestly, it's hard to lose with real estate, but you have to be patient. Slow money, cars, fast money. Indeed. He said my intellectual property can be purchased at Target for $2.98. Hey, let's get it. Let's get it. So listen, we appreciate you guys for being here. Another edition of Brothers of Legacy. Hopefully we have helped you, your finances, ideas, vision, your credit score. Definitely thank you guys for watching. He said, or to local bubblegum machine. So we appreciate you guys for being here. We look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Freestyle Friday, right? Because today's Thursday. Okay, get my days together. Freestyle Friday. We look forward to see you. I got a Warriors had to donate. Oh, appreciate you, Coach. Thank you for rocking with us. Make sure you are following, sharing, letting everybody know that's around in your circle, in your village, that you are hanging out with the brothers at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time from Tuesday to Friday. Oh Lord, go Lakers, go Lakers. That is from Thomas. If y'all need to know, make sure y'all following Disruptive Dialogue, Redemption Advancement. Yes, brother got a lot going on. Make sure you connect with Thomas. He has some great content. I appreciate you, Jeff. All right,
make sure y'all connect.
We look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, same time, same channel. 988, you or someone you love is having a mental health crisis. Make sure you dial 988. I got a big lag happening, but as long as y'all can hear me, it's all that matters. 988. Know that we love you. Jesus loves you better. Stay safe, make good choices, and we will see you in the AM. All right, peace out.